Hey, what's up? It's Malta Master, and I'm here with my friend
Equimanthorn.
and we want to share with you guys some of our favorite bands.
For the first one, we have Timeghoul. Timeghoul, to me, is it's pretty timeless. You know, the way that they unconventionally blend from like one style to the next, how aggressive they are. In a sense, it has a little bit of slam. You know, it has some elements of like, I don't really know where I can hear the slam from, but there's some slam in there. You know, it's like a huge muddle of all this wild, crazy shit. And in the midst of all that, they have solos and whatnot. A lot of harmonics, very beautiful.
So, wait, let me ask you a quick question. Is your favorite song the one with the hourglass? You know what I'm
That's
saying?
yeah, Timeghoul, melting in the hourglass. There's the one about the one in the
I am your god.
yeah, that one. No, there's I just get excited just thinking about it. You know, it sends shivers down my spine like the Halo trial. Yeah, Timeghoul is pretty nasty, but that was my second choice, so that could only mean one thing. You know, the second best. It doesn't mean anything really.
Stormtroopers of Death, which I really like, but they really only put out 2 albums. Everybody knows their album Speak English or Die is really cool. It's kind of fun at the same time because they're like an army band, you know what I'm saying? They're themed all around the army. And some other bands I really like are Death, Dark Throne, and a lot of other cool bands.
And after Timeghoul, I would have to, without a doubt, go with this like cousin band, I guess you can say. It was like his little brother or big brother, Demelik. That shit is insane, honestly. The way that they can manage to write riffs on top of riffs seamlessly with like a fluid transition, though at the same time being something that's like backwards and evil. That type of music shouldn't exist, though nonetheless, it is still there grinding its way into reality. It's a storm, honestly, the way that you can conjure up something like that. It's not conventional, it is ugly. It is like Timeghoul in the sense that it kind of just does its own thing, except it's not pretty at all. Timeghoul has its harmonic moments. Timeghoul has like a kind of like a story being told. Demelik is more of like a brutal, like that's it, like you're doomed. From start to finish, there's no escape. I would like to take it a little bit slower after, you know, numbing your mind down with all these technicalities and shit. We'll go with Ripikulu. Yes, rip you a new asshole. That's what this type of music does. This band is quite something in how they're just very chill. They're very mellow. They have a very casual sense in grinding through to infinity and beyond. You know, they're just above and beyond. How simple yet seamless. It feels like something that you've heard countless times before in lots of other bands and lots of other situations. However, it is very original, very primal, very instinctual. You know, when you're really drunk, that's the type of music you should go for. Ripikulu, rip you a new one. I have their music. I'm a huge fan. I really dig like their style of scales and progressions, though I can't give it to them because I don't know. I really don't know why. Nile. Yes, Nile. I know you guys might have heard it before, and that's why I kind of don't want to say it over and over again. These guys are, needless to say, you know, unbelievable. But yeah, Nile, for really going above and beyond in, as far as I know at the moment, like, prove me wrong, hopefully, please prove me wrong. They're one of the few, like, you know, one of the only bands I know of for that type of Egyptian, Eastern, Oriental metal. Honestly, it's pretty cool seeing how they really do their research. They really take their time to not just like sing about like, you know, nasty like shredding and like they don't need vocals. They really don't need vocals for like all the shit that's going on. But the fact that they can make their vocals match it and make it something of, you know, deep, like esoteric and actual historical value. Like, for example, Ramses III in Usur Mot Ray. That's one of the most badass fucking songs, like from start to finish. I guess that one and the whole album of Annihilation of the Wicked. That's definitely the album from them. Annihilation of the Wicked.
Are you talking about that band
Nile, yeah.
that sings about Egypt?
Yeah. The fucking casting down the heretics, dude. They're gonna murder us all. we have Thurgothan. Thurgothan is really taking the handle and like, you know, just like letting it go, you know, it's like really hands off at this point. Thurgothan is really something of its own. It's alive, it is super slow, it is a genre of its own, and it's something that to me it still ties into it because it's still tapping into that same pool of magic. It's still in that realm. Yeah, it's a different genre of metal, it's slower, but it definitely fits nonetheless because it's still drawing with though it's not as like speedy, I feel like the synths compensate for it. The synths let your mind fill in the gaps. It lets your mind want to go and like, you know, kick it up a notch, you know? It really wants you to go and like drive it up another gear. And that's what makes this type of music in particular, like, you know, kick ass, definitely. It leaves a lot for your imagination to fill. Yeah, you know, Gloomlord, it looks like it. If you couldn't figure it out, you're an idiot. Infestor. It should have been obvious, you know, Infestor is fucking nasty, dude. Our cover, we were heavily inspired by Infestor. I can't play like Infestor, I really wish I could. I'm trying, you know, I'm trying to make my own music on my own, and Infestor is definitely terrifying. Infestor is black metal that it takes a while to get into it. At first pass, I didn't understand it. At first pass, I thought it was like really trying too hard. But holy shit, less is more. It is like black and death metal. It's death metal, but really toned down to just its primitive basis. It's just a speed. It feels like, you know, you're on cocaine or some shit, dude. Like, it's really fast and like, you know, attacking at certain points, but then other points it just really slows it down. Like, you're in the depths of degradation, literally. Into the depths of degradation. It's really depressive at some points, really aggressive, really, you know, possessive. You know, the list goes on. It's an album. It's the only album, sadly. I really, really wish there was more, especially with the drummer. As that guy, props to you, dude. Fucking badass. Infestor, man. Holy shit. So, going on with that same rhyme all the time, we're gonna go down with Oppressor after Infestor. Oppressor is really weird. I really like how they have that jazzy tone, how they have a real like affinity towards those jazzy harmonics, these like overtones that they harmoniously blend together, but in an eerie way. Especially Seasons, you know, definitely listen to Seasons and look at them play live on YouTube. You know, those people, they really have fun while doing it. You know, I can only imagine what's going on in their mind playing at that speed. Holy shit. Oppressor, that whole album and all their other works, well, that album in general, the Seasons of Agony, or Agony of Solstice, whatever that album is, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but that one is a true fucking, it really leaves you scratching your head wondering, like, where did you get this from? Where did that happen? Dusk, Thou Majesty in Ruin, or Majestic, Thou in Ruin. You know, needless to say, yeah, I used to love a lot of Disembowelment. I still love Disembowelment, you know? Disembowelment is one of the things that introduced me to that slower style. How it had like slam incorporated with like, you know, that really slow, depressive, you know, majestical. But Dusk really took it to a whole nother level. Dusk really took it to a point where it felt alive. It wasn't just like, you know, melting away in the ocean. You know, you weren't just like, you know, the singularity or some shit. It wasn't so depressive as Disembowelment. It was more like a ritual, you know. There was a lot of, especially the synth work and the sudden, like, changes. Dusk is nice. Very nice. Cryptopsy. Cryptopsy, I was split between that one and, like, Deeds of Flesh, Scythe, you know. Cryptopsy, I'll go with Cryptopsy because they have a lot more albums for me to like pick and choose from, I guess. Cryptopsy, the speeds, you know, the way that they have humor in their vocals and whatnot, the humor in the lyrics. They're telling a funny story when in truth is like, you know, ripping someone's guts open or some shit like that. It's like a horror movie, you know, but they make it seem so comical, the way they twist it, you know. It's like it should be illegal, Cryptopsy. Apart from the not for the lyrics definitely, but for the way they fucking play live, dude. There's no way that's a human being. Those speeds, that manner of achieving those speeds and the scales, Cryptopsy really has something going for them with how one-off they are. You know, like they're, I don't know, it's like a snail crawling on the edge of the razor, you know, intact. The Knight Rider. So, for the last one of my picks, you know, needless to say, Emperor. Emperor, you guys know Emperor already. There's no need to go into Emperor.
Talk about that song, The Black Wizard.
Yeah, you guys already know the Black Wizards. Apart from Black Wizards and all that stuff, the Great Forest, beyond the Great Vast Forest, towards the Pantheon. Especially the first album, Anthems to the Welkins, fucking As the Shadows Rise, Wrath of the Tyrant. That the synth intro from Wrath of the Tyrant still gives me shivers, man. Still gives me shivers. And if Emperor is not enough, like, you know, what the fuck, dude? There's Thou Shalt Suffer, you know, Ison's side project before Emperor. If Emperor is not enough, like, you have a whole different world to go into. Now, needless to say, there was countless other bands that didn't make it into the list. You know, Thorns of the Carrion. I'm heavily obsessed with Thorns of the Carrion, needless to say. Unholy, Autopsy, Thergothan, Skepticism, Killing Addiction, Morbid Angel. Come on, Morbid Angel. But yeah, the list goes on. My mind just constantly changes, you know. It's like, I can't give you guys a real answer, so don't get too mad at me, please.
5 more favorite bands of mine, and these are the top 5 I got. Is number 5, I got Immortal. My favorite album by them is Northern Chaos Gods. My friend over here is gonna disagree.
I like Immortal, you know, their first album, definitely. Like, you know, he does this shit to, like, bother me, he does this shit to bother me on purpose, but the first album is, the most primal one, the most, but yes, needless to say, their other ones are good, dude. Like, I'm not gonna shit on that one, come on. Make me like bad guy, huh?
I think it's kind of funny that they're always singing about the North and ice and hail and things of that nature. It's kind of funny, you know what I'm saying?
It's run of the mill, you know.
Their aesthetic. Number 4, Slayer. I really like this band. I mean, this is one of the greatest musical acts ever, and it's very close to being the best. And the reason I think this is because, you know, you find a musical act and they have an album that is a masterpiece. Okay, let me see you do it 6 more times. That's Slayer. That's Slayer for you.
Yeah.
My favorite album is Repentless, even though it's really just my favorite album because it has my favorite song, and that's a self-titled song, Repentless. Without that song, for sure, their albums from the 80s were better. The one they put out in 1990, Seasons of the Abyss, is better. But they're a really good band. The really only problem I have with them is that their songs sound way too similar. So if you heard one song, man, you heard them all. Number 3, White Zombie. I really like this band for sure. They got better as time went on. You know, there's stuff from the 80s. You listen to those albums, and those songs are pretty hit or miss. You know, they have some good ones, they have some bad ones. Then they got way better later on into the mid-90s, and till they put out their amazing album. What's that shit called?
White Zombie.
Astro Creed 2000. Astro Creed 2000, in a way, kind of gives me vibes of Dirt by Alice in Chains because of how the songs sound just so different from each other, and it definitely made this album meant for you to listen to it intoxicated, or meant to listen to it high or drunk or whatever the hell the case may be. And also they have really cool names for their songs and albums. Number 2, I got Korn. I know my man over here really won't agree with that, but I agree with myself because, well, first and foremost, their first studio album is definitely their best in my opinion, at least my favorite. Follow the Leader, they incorporated a lot of rap and stuff, and that album does have their best songs for sure. And most of the time I feel like all this rapping stuff in the album is corny, but I understand, you know, they wanted to go commercial and all that, you know what I'm saying? They were really into rap, but Korn's definitely my second favorite. And number 1, what's number 1?
Alice in Chains, dude.
Alice in
What the fuck, dude?
Chains.
Come
You
on.
know it's Alice in
What is
Chains.
this? Is this a game?
My favorite album is obviously Dirt. I really like Jar of Flies, but Jar of Flies isn't metal, so I don't even know what I'm talking about it right now. But it's a terrific band. It really hasn't been the same since Lane left, and he can't come back because he passed away, rest in peace. But they still put out some very good efforts as after Lane Staley passed away, starting in 2009. That's when they came back and started making albums again. And I really love them when they had Lane. I think Lane Staley is the best voice in music. My favorite song by them is definitely Them Bones. Whenever I'm pulling up somewhere, man, I play that song really loud, very obnoxiously, so everybody hears it.
They will know. Once they hear it, he's like, oh, Them Bones is one of them kids. It's one of them kids. There you go.
Well, so, you know, those are some of my favorites. He said his favorites, my man. He definitely has more experience listening to metal.
No, it's a more extreme taste. You know, it's not, you know, it's not PG-13 or I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. People are gonna differentiate us. How do you say that word?
Differentiate. It's a dichotomy. No, it's not a dichotomy. You know, we're polarized. You know, I'm in the negative end. He's in the positive end.
I like more something like thrash metal and heavy metal. Some of the softer stuff. Even when it comes to black metal, you know, Dark Throne and Immortal. They have a more
melodic.
Softer.
Yeah, it's melodic. It's an adventure. It's a quest. Whereas with me, it's like true evil. You know, fucking imprecation, fucking infernal dominion. I don't know. There's countless bands out there. I can go on and on. So don't take my list too serious. You know, anything that's evil. You know, the more the merrier.
Yeah, well, that's what we are really into. Keep rocking, motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? Keep checking out my videos.
I mean, guys, rock on. If there's any questions or comments, please feel free to go ahead and let us know down below. I'm here for you guys during these troubling times of what music to listen to. You know, I really don't know, but neither does he.
Well, thanks for watching. Keep watching, and peace.